Alright, so basically we got these washers here at Ace Hardware to fit in this bucket. I believe this is gear number 3, and it's tapered fitting also, so we did have to go smaller to larger, if you can tell in there. And basically the number I'm shooting for is 16 millimeter. So you can see right there we're pretty dialed in on 16. Had to take a little shuffling around. There was 3 different sizes we used to get this. If you want to base it off of what I did, we had 3 5/16 washers, 5 1/4-inch washers, and 3 3/16 washers. I'm sure that's just the hole size, not the actual thickness, so that probably doesn't apply to anything now that I'm thinking about it, but whatever. That's what we went off of, so it works, it measures out. We're gonna stuff it right now. So yeah. I do have 3 different sizes, so I'm actually putting my very smallest ones in between a couple of the second to smallest ones, just for, I don't know, whatever purpose. It doesn't really, I don't think it'll affect much, but just to be on the safer side that nothing can really slip. So they're all in there, there's very little play. They all sit flush. So now we're gonna put our spring up in it. Kind of play the same game we just did on the other one. And there you go. Number 3 done. Okay, basically we're gonna do this accumulator here. As you can see, it's a lot different from the other 3. It's kind of like the lonely stepchild, I guess, over here all by itself, and different from everybody else. So one thing that you got to mention is that we can't shim it from the top like we did on these, because we have a fluid hole right here, and we wouldn't want to restrict that fluid hole. Also, down here is a second piece to the accumulator that comes out, and it's actually the chamber, oh crap, where you would put your shims, but not enough to exceed this hole right here. So you don't want to block any holes where fluid can come through, as well as on these ones there's holes at the very bottom, so that's why you're shimming up here at the top, and this one's being shimmed at the bottom because we don't want to restrict any flow of transmission fluid. So basically I did my 6 nickels in there, got to about a little over 11 millimeters. I could stretch it and put another nickel in there and it would still be below the hole, but then it would be about 13, so I don't know if I want to go that big on there, so we're going to stay a little conservative on this one. And basically this guy just slides back in. This will go on top like so, and the valve body is ready to be pushed down and installed. Alright, so basically we had to put the phone down just to get the valve body pushed in far enough so we could get all the bolts threaded and seated properly, so we didn't have one side lopsided. So all of those are kind of snug fit now, and we have to go back around. There's 20 of them. We got to do 7 pounds of torque to tighten them down. So that's what we're about to do. I'll take you through a couple of them. We don't really have the video going all day long on these, but you're sure it'll click, right?
Okay. Oh, there it goes.
All right, cool. Started to get a little worried on that first one there. Okay. So far, so good. I'm doing all my corners first, just to try and make it as level as possible. Got a click there. And I'm not going too fast because I don't want to overreact. And
Not that one.
Not that one. Yep, that's already there.
Nope.
Oh, that one didn't even get down.
Yep.
All right,
We'll be going around for a while on that one.
All right, so you all get the picture. There's 20 of these. We got to go 7 pounds around on 20 times, and that'll get this all tightened down and on to the next step, which would be putting these wires back on. Okay, wiring's done. We're back to where we had everything. We got the sensor here, the solenoid connectors here. It's a total of 7, I believe. Really easy to put back together. It's a no-brainer. You know, it reaches as far as it can go and not much to remember anyways. So now we're gonna put on a new filter or oil strainer, and some of you may or may not have to replace yours depending on how sludgy or how bad your previous fluid is. Mine's not too bad, but I wanted to replace it anyways just for knowing that it's new, so if there was any kind of failure it wasn't based off of that. They're relatively inexpensive, so I just went for it. It's up to you if you feel like you need to replace yours or not, but it's probably not necessary. You could probably clean it out and it would be just fine. Okay, so before I put the pan back on, this is your end result here. Shimmed accumulators, springs. 3 out of the 4 are basically a 15 to 18 millimeter shim, depending on how hard you want it to shift. The higher the millimeter, the harder the shift. And the one back here, like I said, we said earlier, is a 10 to 14. So again, the same rule applies. The higher the millimeter, the stiffer the shift will be. And then also the switch got turned up to the highest point for pressure flow. So now all I gotta do is clean out my pan and clean the magnets out and get the sealant on there all cleared off and reseal it, and this is a done job. Okay, I got the pan all cleaned out, magnets cleaned off, sealant stripped, and I used a scouring pad to kind of clean the rest of it off as good as what you see here. I'm satisfied with it in my world. In the real world, who knows, but I think it's good enough. So now it's on to sealing it, and I'm using this Permatex Ultra Gray gasket maker. So that's what I'll be doing. So this is a done deal. Got the gasket sealer in there. It's just basically finger tight right now. Waiting an hour to let the gasket sealant seal up a little bit more and cure a tiny bit, and then torque it down. But this is basically a done job for a A650E Toyota Lexus automatic transmission. This is a valve body upgrade, and yeah, this modification, full credit to Cody Graham for the write-up. I basically just copied what he did, so this is his mod. I just made a video of me doing it. So I want to thank you all for taking the time to check this video out. I'm pretty sure there's maybe one, if not any, videos of this actually being done. So I am excited for that. Hopefully it's informative for you and it gives you guys a little more courage to go and try it yourself before you automatically just run and go do, you know, some manual swap of some sort. Time will only tell if this transmission will hold up, but I definitely followed it step by step and hopefully gave you step by step for something that's apparently is going to hold up to 650 horsepower, proven so far, proven at 650 reliably. So I'm only shooting for like the 500 range, so I should be good to go. Hopefully it all works out. Fortunately, you'll have to wait a little while longer to find out how it really does. So keep checking in, keep listening, keep subscribing if you haven't, like button, whatever. Cool guys, see you later.